Hello everybody, welcome back for a World of Warships Blitz video. This time we're looking at the Black Bismarck. So the Black Bismarck is more than an elite ship, it's a special ship that's only available to those people that have done sufficiently well in the league, the trophy league. Those top players can get themselves a Black Bismarck, so you don't see many about, although we have another one in this game. What we're looking to do here is just do a bit of a comparison so that you can see what the differences are. The most significant differences you'll see down the bottom is that it has a rapid reload and a defensive AA. Now I won't use a defensive fire AA in this game, but that defensive fire AA is a pretty welcome addition when there is a carrier around. The rapid reload, in the normal Bismarck you get improved, an improved accuracy. This seems to have improved dispersion anyway, so this rapid reload is quite powerful sort of addition, because what it means is that you can step up the damage potential when you're in a brawl with another battleship. So at this point I'm going to head into the cap. There are 3 destroyers, so don't expect a high damage game, unless the damage is against me because I miscalculate the torpedoes. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time in this game turning, and the Black Bismarck, as I've got it kitted out. I've got it kitted out for a turning module. I've got it kitted out for fire reduction, and I have it kitted out for a secondary range. So it has enormous range on its secondaries, out to 7.5 kilometres, which is pretty good. So what it means is that at the moment I'm engaging at long range, and as you can see, the groupings of shells is actually quite tight. Here I am. I've loaded up the rapid reload for this North Carolina to try and get a little bit on him. I'm turning the ship to try and bring my guns on. I've still got 7 seconds in the rapid reload, so it keeps reloading at double the speed. It expires, but it gets me most of the way towards the second shot, and I'm hoping that I can get a second shot in. Now what I've done is I've thrown the ship in reverse because I'm heading for the edge of the capture circle. I'm trying to get that damage out, but I don't want to leave the circle, because if we leave the circle we'll probably not get it back, not with all those destroyers. Although to be fair, our destroyers are also in the cap, so which is good on them. Yeah, so I'm about to open fire on this Legato. As you can see, the groupings of shells as they go out, and you can see I've got 4 hits out of 8 shots at that range. The groupings of shells are nowhere near as random as a normal Bismarck. And then we've dodged those torpedoes to the front. We're heading back into the cap now. At some point, I'm dreading the point at which I meet those destroyers, because my guns, the only guns that are sort of flexible enough to turn fast enough, are the secondaries, and that's a pretty sort of anemic load to go out and take on destroyers. And that's one of the reasons why my main Bismarck, actually has turret rotation, as I ended up helpless with my guns, unable to train on destroyers, even as I turned the entire ship. So, so this is a non-standard configuration for me, but what I've done is I've tried to optimise the strength of the ship so that you can get a bit of a feel for how it can act. So this is really a specialised brawler, in fact mid-range brawler I'd call it. I wouldn't call it a close-range brawler. I don't think there's going to be much for me to do there. Someone else has dealt with that problem. However, I'll deal with this problem instead. And as you can see, the secondaries quite happily make it over, all the way over, take the damage, dealing out the damage. So, 1.5 minutes in the game left, and out with the secondaries. I know it's out with the secondaries, then followed by the main shells. That's a fairly common tactic on these secondary heavy ships, is that you use the secondaries as the spotters, and if they look like they're accurate, then you release the mains immediately afterwards. And in fact, if you have a Bismarck or a Tirpitz, or even a Gneisenau, you'll find that you'll spend a lot of time working those secondaries. They are a very powerful tool, And here we go. We'll probably have to deal with 2 of those. One of them on the torpedo belch, one of them on the nose. But unfortunately, I think that Kagero is now empty of torpedoes, because if he had any more, I'd probably, well, yeah, as you can see, there's not a lot of health left. He's dealt with, which is good. And, yep, we have 2 destroyers left. And basically at this point, I'm a priority target for them because they're going for easy kills. And, yeah, everybody wants to take out the big ship. Like that. So what I'm doing here is turning, so that turning away, so that if he's firing his torpedoes to where he thinks I'm going to be, I'm not going to be there anymore. It's really hard to shoot at a turning destroyer because, you know, it's you've got to try and predict where they land, and he's gone. I should have waited because, yeah, well, he was coming back into sight. And I may have actually, he's pretty broadside on there. I could have got some good hits on him. Anyway, 56,000's not bad. I mean, the major contribution I provided was being in the cap, taking an awful lot of damage, and keeping the cap in our hands. So we can have a look at some stats, and we got only 1 critical hit. Let's see how we did. So yeah, so sort of middling, but still holding that all important cap, and right through the end of the game. And if we look at the other stats, 48 main battery hits. So it was a fairly middling distance brawl. 3 secondary hits, 1 citadel, and 3 modules damaged. So I'll pause the video at this point, or I'll wrap up the video at this point. These stats that they're scrolling through to your right, I'll take them with a grain of salt. There is actually 2 changes between this Bismarck and the normal Bismarck, and I'll go through them. So the normal Bismarck has 51.7 thousand hit points. This has 53.7, so that's an improvement of 2,000 points. The normal Bismarck has a damage reduction of 15%. This has a damage reduction of 16.5%, but all the other damage reduction stats are the same. And this Bismarck has a 14.28 kilometre range versus a 13.73, and also does more damage at 1829 hit points worth of damage rather than 1770. So that's the Black Bismarck. It should be fairly familiar for Bismarck players. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.